Well, boys, there was some football this weekend. Some beautiful free flowing football, some lovely interplay, and then there was Arsenal. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal and regressive football. Up top, that is Brad. He supports Chelsea. And down below, that is Sean. He supports Tottenham. Gentlemen, hello, good day. How are you?
Regressive football. I'm very good. We are flying high. We've lost 2 of the last 20 games.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
The project is coming together.
I've heard that before.
With it,
I've heard that before.
I'm feeling pretty good too. That our club decided not to change their strategy mid-game, which really worked out. Which is something we've discussed recently.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Scored a third goal. Imagine.
Glad there was no external influence that would require you to change your strategy mid-game. But yeah, let's get into it this week. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for clicking the video or the podcast. If you could hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell if you're on YouTube. If you are on one of the podcast sites, follow, 5-star review, all of that good stuff really does help us out. Hit the share button, put it on your socials, all those good things. We really would appreciate your support in growing this podcast. So, I don't think there's really any place anywhere else to start other than the big one, the City Arsenal match. Do you guys have anywhere else you'd like to start other than I propose City Arsenal? I don't know what you guys think.
You want to argue about this first?
I think we have to. Yeah. I think we have to.
I think we need to talk footy first before y'all get into this argument.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the football. So the game ends 2-2. Arsenal get a point at the Etihad. Regular listeners will remember that last week I did say if you offered me a draw going into it that I would take it. I'm a firm believer in 4 points against City, and you have done a job over them for a year. So with that being said, that doesn't tell the whole tale. City break the deadlock in like the 9th minute or something like that. Erling Haaland, what is it? Is it the 9th minute?
Yeah.
Crushing.
Yeah, it was early. Early.
So Erling Haaland was put through on goal by Silvinho. Great goal. Just kind of cut Arsenal apart. And for like the first 20, 25 minutes, it really did look like City were in complete control, that Arsenal weren't really getting a kick. Yeah, John, what's up?
Before we get too far, I do want the record to show
it.
Early in this game, possibly before the goal, it was very early in the game and definitely the single digits. There was a ball bouncing back towards the Arsenal back line that Erling Haaland decided to absolutely run at Saliba and lay him out.
Yeah, it was the 3rd minute. It actually was the 4th minute.
And Oliver decided not to even call a foul, which set the tone for the game.
Yeah.
If you're not calling that, then you're not calling it. You can't decide later that you're calling something else, right?
City fans will try to point to the second of the game where Kai Havertz and Rodri had a coming together, but if you watch that and you watch it without a Manchester City bias, then you can see that Rodri tries to block Kai Havertz off, and Havertz doesn't really do anything to Rodri, but Rodri rolled around like he was dying for about 2 minutes. It was pretty despicable, if you ask me. But yeah, so like
Havertz's eyes are down the field. He's looking somewhere else.
I'm fairly certain it was the very next play. So that stop, like that stoppage for Rodri took like 2 minutes, and then the ball goes back to Ederson, and then Ederson launches the ball up the field, and then Haaland just takes out Saliba. I think that might have been
that's right.
It might have been the very next thing. I don't know. Okay, so City take the lead. Arsenal get one back midway through the second half. City fans will be upset because Oliver called Kyle Walker and Bukayo Saka over to him as the captains to try and calm things down. And then Walker, I guess, didn't quite get back into the position he wanted to, and ball gets played over the top to Martinelli. Martinelli cuts it back, and Calafiori scores his first goal in his first Arsenal start. Brad will try and tell you it was not an attempt on goal, that it was a scuffed cross. I disagree. Sean is coming around to my side.
He's not.
No, it's a
He's
pass.
not.
It's a pass.
It's 100% a
I
cross.
saw it. I saw it again. My reasoning for it is that he doesn't put his laces through the ball. This is not kicked with any veracity at all, and not like in a way that he's just finessing the shot. He just kind of like lifts the ball. Really,
Yeah,
he just helps it on,
because
it's more like a pass than it is.
Sean, I know you'll get this. You've played FIFA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, if you hold down one of the triggers and then hit the shot button, it's called a finesse shot.
Yeah.
He was not finessing this.
He absolutely finessed it.
You're trying to finesse this pass us.
You can finesse a pass too.
Sure.
In the same game
but if
you're talking about.
But if you hit the shot button, it's a finesse shot, and he absolutely finessed this into the goal. We need to leave it to the people.
Button.
Okay, PlayStation user. He hit the B button for shot. He hit the B button. Check out the YouTube video on the highlights. You decide for yourself if it was a shot or a pass. I think it was a shot. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Arsenal get back in the game. It's 1-1. At 1-1, Arsenal were even, if not better, towards the end of the first half. Arsenal were at least even, if not better. Arsenal get a second goal on a set piece, corner. Gabriel, Arsenal do their Arsenal thing. They put a lot of players in the box. Ederson doesn't have a lot of space to move. He falls over. Gabriel has a free header. The bigger issue is that for the second week in a row, whoever's defending Gabriel just lets him go. Kyle Walker just let Gabriel run by him and didn't do anything. And so
sure. But the 3-man wall kind of helps.
But
the 3-man wall and the goalie.
But Martinelli doesn't push him. Yeah, Saliba doesn't push him. Like, they're just standing there.
They run up behind
they boxed
him like
him in. This has got to be addressed by the FA, because they're not addressing it. And if they're, like I said this last year, if they're not going to address it, the more Tottenham, Chelsea, other teams don't do this, they're leaving goals on the table by not doing what Arsenal are doing.
Just
because they're not calling it. They are not calling it, so you might as well do it.
You can't really call it a foul because, like James said, they're not necessarily pushing the goalie, and they are entitled to their space.
They just box them in. They're just boxing them in.
Yeah, you just surround the goalie.
They run in. They run in tandem and get on either side of him. That's all they do.
Just do what Arsenal do. So Arsenal take the lead. They're up 2-1, and then the unthinkable happens. Michael Oliver decides to make himself the center of attention and sends Leandro Trossard off for a second yellow card. And I kid you not, it's again for delaying a restart. Arsenal now have a litany. We're starting to have like a whole chapter in our history of second yellow cards for delaying a restart, sending off. So we had the Van Persie one in the Champions League against Barcelona. We had Declan Rice 3 weeks ago against Brighton, and now we've got Trossard against Manchester City.
You want to argue about it now or later?
We should argue about it now.
Ooh. Okay, guys.
It is absolutely delaying. I watched it again, just like I did in real time. He boots. This is not a attempted pass because he boots it almost straight into the air.
Did you see where the ball landed?
Probably somewhere in a remote location, somewhere off of Aruba.
No.
He kicked the crap out of it.
It doesn't go as far as you think it goes. If you look at where the ball no. If you look at where the ball lands, where Martinelli is running to is a perfectly reasonable place for where that ball ended up.
And it's gonna bounce 35 meters into the air because he kicked it so high. How is that an attempted pass? That is if he did that in a game and there was no foul before that, you would be absolutely obscenely mad at Trossard for such a dumb pass.
I don't think that's true because Martinelli would have gotten to it. Martinelli was in acres of space,
and he's going to one touch it,
and he's going to run onto it. He's going to run onto it. He's going to have 40 yards of the pitch of free grass. Like so okay. Your argument is that he just puts his laces through it. It goes I would buy that argument if
Out
the
of
ball,
frustration.
I would buy that argument if the ball wasn't in the field, wasn't where Martinelli was going, and if it took more from the time Michael Oliver blows his whistle to when Trossard kicks the ball is less than a second.
It is.
It's
I agree with
less
that.
than a second. And so you're telling me that 3 weeks ago, Michael Oliver in the Liverpool game, Szoboszlai, has the ball. He gets called for a foul and just wallops the ball into the box, and he doesn't get a yellow card for that. And in the Manchester City Arsenal game earlier, Bernardo Silva delays a restart. I'm not going to argue the Doku one. I will concede that the Doku one, Michael Oliver, like Doku passes the ball back to where it's supposed to be, and Arsenal players complain, and Michael Oliver is like, that's where the ball's supposed to be. Stop complaining. I won't argue that one. But Bernardo Silva delayed a restart like seconds before Trossard got his yellow card for it, and he didn't get a yellow card. And so you're telling me my issue with this is that if you're going to say that the Premier League is going to be enforcing yellow cards for delaying a restart, then where's the consistency?
That's the point that I'll agree with you on, is that it doesn't seem to be called on other teams. It seems to be hyper-focused on Arsenal specifically.
And let's be honest, it's been hyper-focused on Arsenal, and it's cost us 4 points so far this season. We were beating Brighton 1-0, and Brighton come back and equalize. We draw the game. We're beating City 2-1. And I'm not saying that we're definitely going to beat City. Honestly, I think if we're 11-11 against City, City are more likely to score against Arsenal because Arsenal's not going to do what we did in the second half. So after that yellow card, Arsenal came out in the second half and played the most, like, Jose Mourinho would be proud of what Arteta did in that second half. Jose Mourinho watched that game and cried a tear of joy watching that game. Diego Simeone watched that and was just so full of pride and joy for what Arsenal did in that. It was the most stalwart defense. Like if you've ever seen a bus, like this is the literal definition of parking the bus. Arsenal had 2 touches in the opposition half, in the entire second half of the game. 2 touches.
Simeone got out of bed and went to a chalkboard and started. He was just so inspired that he started drawing up defensive plays based on what he saw on the TV.
Essentially, there was a point where it was like 6 across the back and 3 in the middle, and Arsenal were essentially giving City all of the space up to about 22 yards in front of goal. They were saying, take as much space as you want. You can have it all. You can have it all, except for 22 yards away from our goal. Once you get into that position, we're stepping to you. And so, like, Ruben Dias was just like planted outside the Arsenal penalty area. And right when he would receive a pass, someone would go to him. Kai Havertz would go to him. Declan Rice would go to him. Partey would step to him. Well, whoever it was. And it was incredible for 53 minutes. It was an incredible defensive performance for 53 minutes. And it was essentially the final kick of the game. Arsenal clear the ball for a corner. They don't reset quick enough. City take it quickly, and Arsenal are out of position. City get like a scrappy bounce around goal, and the game equalizes, and City celebrates like they've won the Olympics. And Arsenal feel like we've lost the game.
The best description of their defense. Be humble.
Be humble, James. James, be humble. Be humble.
The best argument for how good the defense was I fell asleep watching it. I fell asleep late into the second half because it was so monotonous.
I mean, like, I don't think anyone can be upset for I'm seeing all this crap on Twitter about people being like, Arsenal are disgusting for playing this way. It's awful what they did in the second half. How dare they like do this? It was a disgusting display of football. Like the game was turned on its head with the second yellow card. Did they expect Arsenal to come out and try and play free-flowing football 10 against 11 against City at the Etihad? That's insane.
Big Ange does it.
Yeah, Big Ange did it against Chelsea and lost 4-1. Like Big Ange tried to do it, and you like no, screw morals, screw everything. That it doesn't matter. The point is to get there. They're winning the game already. They don't need a goal. They just need to prevent a goal. And you know what? Like they dang near did it. And I, as an Arsenal fan, I am very proud of that. I'm very disappointed that we didn't win the game. I feel like we've lost the game. It feels like we lost the game in the manner in which we lost it. And so I'm disappointed in that regard, but I'm also very proud of what they were able to do for 53 minutes. It was incredible.
And to be fair, they were tasked with 7 extra minutes. They conceded in 97 and 15 seconds.
Which
it was just the carry. Now hold on. To be fair to Michael Oliver here, because we can bash him on plenty of things. The corner was conceded before the 7 minutes were up. He just allowed the corner to play out before he blew the whistle, right? Like
yeah.
You allow that to go off,
yes.
And then the procession of play. Yeah, if Arsenal would have cleared it, he would have blown the flag.
Agreed. Yeah.
Or blown the whistle. Sorry.
What were you going to say, Brad?
How did they get 7+ minutes, 8 minutes of stoppage time when the ball was in play for 35 of the 45 minutes?
I'm not sure.
Like the most amount of that is the most amount of time that the ball was in play for a half of football in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And
that's the one that gets me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're saying it was in play for 35 out of 40 minutes, and they should have had 10 minutes of time added on. But we all know that that's not how extra time is calculated. That's not how it's calculated. You generally do 30 seconds for a substitute unless it's like an extremely long substitution, and then you do a minute. You do 30 seconds or a minute for every goal. There were no goals. There were a few substitutions, so I'll give you that. But like, yes, Arsenal players would go down with a cramp, but then they would immediately be substituted. So it's not like Arsenal players were faking injuries and like they were going down injured and then coming directly off. Like,
yep.
And so like people are complaining and trying to paint Arsenal as the villains here, which I think is the most insane take of this all. The villain in this game is Michael Oliver. The villain in this game is the PGMOL, who allow Michael Oliver, and this is the statistic that I have for you, Sean, to referee Manchester City. We all know the story of Michael Oliver going to the UAE and getting paid by the Man City owners to referee football games. Would you guys care to guess how many red cards Michael Oliver has shown to Manchester City in the 47 games that he's officiated them in?
Ooh, guess the way that your tone is.
You can count it with no hands.
The way your tone is.
You can count it with
zero.
no hands because he has never shown Manchester City a red card in 47 appearances as a referee for Manchester City. Do you want to know how many red cards he's shown to Tottenham, Sean? I don't know how many games.
I would say at least 2.
I don't know how many games he's adjudicated. 11.
11.
I don't know Chelsea.
We're not even your rival.
I didn't even look. I didn't look at Chelsea. Michael Oliver.
Michael Oliver. How many red cards has he given Chelsea?
Yeah.
Yeah. The hate you give to Anthony Taylor needs to be directed at Michael Oliver.
No.
Yeah. So
Anthony Taylor's a screw up and shouldn't be reffing. Michael Oliver can go hang out on a beach. I don't care.
Michael Oliver was also the fourth ref, by the way.
The fact that Michael Oliver is still allowed to referee Manchester City games is insane to me. And the villain of this story is not Arsenal. The villain of this story is not Arteta for playing an incredible, like, defensive, regressive, you're not going to score game ever. What, Brad?
Hold on. He's reffed 43 games for us. Calls about 10.7 fouls on us. Half of a chance for fouls per tackle. 0.05 penalties.
Okay.
64 yellows.
Is there a point
2 reds.
Yeah.
43 games, 64
he
yellows.
likes you too.
Yeah.
He likes you too.
I'm just that's something to note. Michael Oliver is the villain here. And
94 yellows on 53 games. Yeah, he does have a agenda against you.
11 Reds does. 11 Reds. He hates North London because 11 Reds is So if he's done 47 of City and 43 of Chelsea, I would assume that the Tottenham is relatively in the ballpark. It's probably 35 to 45 because we don't
What yellow
play
cards?
as many
games refereed.
no
45
games.
45 appearances, 81 yellow cards.
Okay.
81 yellow cards and 11 red cards.
And 11 reds.
Now,
which is
five
crazy
reds. I don't know where
because
you're getting the reds from, but
we honestly
Who Scores.
we honestly don't have a lot of reds. It is very rare. Having 2 in one game against Chelsea last year was an anomaly, and it's completely skewed our sportsmanship numbers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We don't get reds.
I apologize. I that's reds per game. I apologize. Tottenham have 5 red cards. I apologize. It was 11. It's
okay.
point 11 reds per game. That's my fault.
Okay.
Michael Oliver, I'd like to express my sincere apologies to you for misrepresenting that one statistic.
Nope.
Yeah. So
Michael Oliver, we ain't about that.
He's trash, and clearly, Arsenal need to be starting a petition that almost every other club should sign, that he should not be allowed. If he's going to be allowed to ref in the Premier League, he should not be allowed to ref Man City games.
But the problem is he can't. He also shouldn't be allowed to ref Manchester City adjacent games. So like not Manchester United, not Chelsea, not Liverpool, not Arsenal, not Tottenham. He should be reffing Wolves against Southampton, Ipswich versus Leicester. Yeah, he should be he should be fired. We need foreign refs. Arsene Wenger said this almost 20 years ago, and it's still true today. We need foreign refs. The refereeing in the Premier League has gotten worse over the last 20 years, and they have VAR now.
Because the money has gotten better.
These guys are professional referees. 20 years ago, they weren't professional referees. They were school teachers. They were principals. They were taxi drivers. They weren't professional referees, and they were better at their job. And now these guys are professionals. All they do is train at Stockley Park, watch tape, and referee, and they're worse today than they were 20 years ago when we started watching football.
You know what? Here's the worst part. No. Listen, I'm okay if they want to use English refs. You cannot use an English ref that then goes to the country of a team the
sovereign state of a sovereignly owned club.
Yes. So they cannot referee in Saudi. They cannot referee in UAE or wherever that money transpires for those leagues.
Yeah.
Because like you're paying that ref a second way. It's like Pep's contract with UAE. He's also an ambassador for UAE. So he gets more money. That's how they give him more money. That's not through City. That's not through the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's like, it's that's the part that bothers me the most about PGMOL is that all of these refs are being paid extra money on the side from these teams.
And even if it's not like overtly like, hey, you come here, we'll pay you, you give us good calls. Even if it's not overtly like that, if Michael Oliver starts to be more harsh to City, he's not going to get that invitation to come back for a weekend and make $500,000 or whatever he made. I don't know how much he made. Whatever the amount he made is irrelevant. He's just not going to be invited back to make that again if he starts being harsh to Manchester City, right? Yep. And so it's a travesty. This game was ruined. It was a really fun game to watch in the first half. I think you would agree with that, Sean. It was exciting. It was back and forth.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a fun game to watch, and it got ruined. It was just.
I was actually excited to begin with that he was letting him play. Like when I saw the Haaland collision, I was like, okay, he's gonna let him go, and I was excited. I was like, okay, so we're not gonna have ticky-tack BS calls. We're going to let these boys play, and this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And then Trossard wanted to cheat by kicking the ball away. So
we do need to notice, and we didn't mention this earlier, but Rodri went off injured in this game in about the 20th minute. He went down clutching his knee.
Non-contact.
Yeah. City fans will disagree. They'll say that Partey stabbed him in the leg. But yeah, so Rodri, it appears, though not necessarily confirmed yet, that he has ruptured his ACL and that he will be out for the remainder of the season. That's bad news. Rodri's a good player. I mean, like, I don't want Manchester City to have good players playing for them. I want their academy players to be playing for them. But like with that being said, like Rodri's a good player. He makes the Premier League better. It's better for him to be playing. It obviously benefits all of our teams that Rodri doesn't play. I mean, and I'm not going to be ignorant to that fact, but it is a sad like result.
When they showed the head on from the corner of them two running to the near post,
Yeah,
you could see that Partey doesn't touch him.
Yeah,
and he just plants
and it twists
and immediately goes down. Yeah, and I could tell from that point on, and the way the City players reacted too.
And what's interesting about this is that Rodri has been talking for the last couple of weeks about how players are playing too much and that they're close to like unionizing and striking. He's going to have a lot of time on his hands to organize the players. I really do think that specific injury to that specific player might generate some change, because I could see Rodri taking the next 9 months, 12 months and just like being like, you know what? Screw you, FIFA. Screw you, UEFA. Screw you, Premier League. We're playing too much, and the players aren't going to put up with it because our bodies are falling apart. And I think the players are gonna work with them. I really do think that like if there was any player that didn't need extra time on his hands to be organizing the players, unionizing the players, it could have been someone else, because I think he's going to do it.
He's been very vocal.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Get your thoughts in. I would love to hear from you guys what you think about this Arsenal City game. Put it in the comments. Join our Discord. Let us know there. Hit us up on social medias. We should mention other things. Yeah. What do you want to say?
I was going to say quick notes, because we took a lot longer on that game than we thought we would, even though we thought we would take a lot of time on it. We still took longer than that.
We said 15 minutes. It turned out to be 25 minutes. So sorry, listeners.
So quick notes on Spurs Brentford. Heck of a goal by Mbeumo. I mean, it was well covered from the cross. It was well covered from the goal. It was almost even saved by Vicario. It was just one of those shots that you're just not going to save. It just was what it was.
Incredible.
But shout out to the boys. I don't think it's a Puskas winner or anything, but shout out to the boys for coming together. Shout out to Solanke for getting his first one, so it keeps the from birds from chirping. Record signing, the longer he goes without scoring, the louder it gets, So he got his first. Brennan Johnson scored again. Madison got one late. Took his shirt off, which is he did spin it around his head like a helicopter. Shout out PD Pablo in North Carolina. You didn't think you were going to get a PD Pablo reference on this one, huh?
I was not prepared for that.
Yeah, it was just a good game all around, and I was just really happy for Solanke to get off it is our fifth game, but only his second or third, I believe. So, he was injured for a few. So that was really good. Brad, you got any thoughts on Chelsea?
Nico with a double, Cole Palmer with another goal, and Nico with a double and an assist. He has the most goals not named Erling Haaland, not from a deleted team. So, he's going to win the Golden Boot.
Maybe.
That's a bold claim.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
I think
I'm making.
I think he said Golden Boot counting on Manchester City getting deleted.
Yes,
fair. I think.
Yes.
I think these games turned out to be less interesting than we initially thought they might be, or at least
they were so much fun to watch. What do you mean? I loved watching that West Ham Chelsea game.
Sure. I understand your point, but just as a quick thought, okay, we had a couple people. We had a couple people think that this game would end in a draw. So everyone thought Spurs would beat Brentford. So
we did. But. The only other manager to win his first 3 away games in the Premier League?
It's probably going to be Jose Mourinho, because you love.
Do you have a guess there?
Jose Mourinho for Chelsea.
Jose
Mourinho
first season
to win the first 3 away games.
Jose for Chelsea the second time.
Ooh, interesting. No, it's the bald fraud Pep. Pep is the first manager to win all three, his first 3 away games.
So we got a
now
new
that has been
fraud.
redone by Maresca.
Ooh, his protege.
His protege has won his first 3 away games in the Premier League.
Who were they?
And 2 clean sheets.
Who were they against? West Ham, obviously the first one.
West Ham. We won last week against Bournemouth at Bournemouth.
And then Wolves. You guys crushed Wolves.
Yeah, we destroyed Wolves.
At the Molineux. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I thought that it was, I was expecting this game. All right, let's quickly look over the points for our picks. So interestingly enough, Brad wins this week. He had the best week, 7 correct, 70% hit rate for Brad. That's pretty impressive. Some quick notes just overall. We all, except for Jimmy, liked Ipswich this week. Like everyone liked Ipswich except for Jimmy. Jimmy got that one right with a draw. No one got the Newcastle Fulham game right. Some people picked draw, but no one was bold enough to pick Fulham. Almost everyone, we had 2 picks for draw, and almost everyone else was picking Newcastle. And everyone got Brighton and Forest wrong. We all picked Brighton to win. So that's an interesting thing. Everyone got Spurs and Villa right, and Liverpool. Spurs, Villa, and Liverpool. Everybody got that right.
I just want to point out I was the only one to get the Leicester Everton finish correct.
True. That is true. That is true. So Brad finished with 7. We had a couple people with 5, myself, Jimmy, and then some people with 4. We had Sean, Joel, and Chap with 4, and Tamzid bringing up the rear with 3. So for everybody who has played all, I guess, 5 weeks so far, Jimmy is in first. He's got a 3-point cushion over Sean in second. Brad is coming up hot in third at 29. So he's he's 5 behind Jimmy now.
Yep.
I have Joel and I are still in the thick of things. Tied at the back with 24. We're only 10 off of Jimmy. Jimmy, take a week off. Sean, that means you also have to take a week off too. But yeah, that's all we got. If you want to participate, in this as well. Close. In our preview episode that will air on Friday this week, we talk about the games, and then in our Discord, you can pick all 10 of the games coming up for next week and get in on this action. Let's see if anyone can hunt down Jimmy and catch Jimmy throughout the rest of the season. Any parting thoughts, boys?
I'm coming for it. Hey, Tim Z, listen, man. If you want to know ball, just watch Red Card Radio.
Oh, dang.
We'll teach you some ball.
Shots fired. I think Sean is our new king of recycling the ball. He knows a lot about recycling.
He does. The Spurs are recycling the ball.
Hit us up on social medias. That guy up there is at KSBradG. Down below at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany. Collectively, we can be reached at redcard_radio or info.redcardradio@gmail.com. Hit us up anywhere. Again, really appreciate it if you hit the share button. Those things really do help us out. Join the Discord and chat with us. And we will be back later this week with a preview of Match Week 6. I hope you all have a great one. We will talk to you soon.